Yetta, I've lost traction.
We'll get some new tires.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
We are thrilled that we've been able to welcome you to another episode of Life's Inside Track. I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ken Dekker.
And it's where we get to share techniques, thoughts, tips, tools, and some tactics that we all need, we all deserve to make our home really the best it can be, make great real estate choices, and get the most out of all our decisions. Mm-hmm. This time, we're going to consider some of the things we've been learning. And one of the things that we've learned is that every single little teeny decision, even those little ones, has an impact.
Yeah, it's kind of, like I said, like you look at the tire, right? That's why we did that little analogy at the beginning around traction. Traction is, wow, when we had a car we bought once, I'm going on a tangent here, but we bought a car once and I almost wanted to resell it because it had ABS and maybe it was one of those first ABSs, but it kept letting the brakes go so much that I couldn't stop. And I was going through stop signs when it was wintertime. And what we did was we moved to all season to Blizzak snow tires. And then we could keep the car because the difference was amazing. So the little tiny treads, right? Softer rubber, but tiny, affects the giant car. The little bit, the little thing that, and as a matter of fact, you think the tire is pretty big, but the percentage of the tire that's actually touching the road at any one time is very, very small. So the little things make a huge difference.
Well, and it's interesting because how we got to this lesson learned was that we experienced some big shifts, like in the real estate market, big shifts in our life, even, you know, as you become empty nesters, that's a big shift. And so what a lot of times we wanted to do, and maybe you did too, it's like unnerving when the big change happens. And so we want to overcompensate. We want to make a big decision to think we can fix the thing that's gone on, but really what served us better, and I suspect will serve you better, at least that's our learning, is that if we can make the little tiny change,
right,
then it actually now positions us to make other shifts and changes, but it's the little thing that makes the big difference rather than the other way around.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, it was about 6 weeks ago, we were getting that snow and I was getting frustrated because your car's outside because my nice sports car has to be in the garage. But we have a 2-car garage. And I said, enough is enough is enough. And you know what it was? It was the little things that I didn't do. You know, like I would use a tool and then my garage was messy, so I wouldn't put it back where it actually belonged. And then another time when I needed a tool, I couldn't find it, so I'd buy another one. And then now I've got 2 tools to make my garage more messy. Well, maybe more. Anyway, that's not the point of the story that I buy too many tools, okay?
Okay. But it is actually, we're going to talk about that a little bit.
In this show?
Not in this show, not in this segment, but it is so applicable.
Yeah. And then what happened was over time, the garage got out of control. And we also brought in other stuff because we sold another property and we brought that in. And we've seen that happen where we go into a house and it's so full and they go, yes, well, my parents passed away and I got all their stuff and I put that all in my basement. And then my kids moved and they wanted me to store their stuff. And so that happens to us sometimes. So the little decisions built up to the point where I was overwhelmed and I kept writing in my schedule, clean out the garage, clean out the garage, clean out the garage. And finally, the pain of having to scrape off your car and find a snow brush. That's another story. Find a snow brush to clean it off, right? By the way, when we were cleaning up the garage, because finally Yetta said, yeah, let's do it together. And I was so pleased that you wanted to do it with me.
No, you're misleading people now.
You didn't want to.
I didn't want to do it with them. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I just knew it needed to get done.
Right.
Right. And sometimes it's that little decision. that you go all in on. That little decision was, it was important to get it done. It wasn't getting done, even if it was on your list. I'm thinking about 123 times. And that, I don't think that's an exaggeration.
Well, I wanted to do it when it was warm, not when it was cold, but look at me.
I know.
Out there with the toque on and moving stuff from the garage
Just
to the
you,
shed.
look at you, or look at us.
Yeah, look at us. Yeah. And initially I said, let's do an hour. Because that's all I could handle, right? Let's do an hour. And I thought, an hour with two of us, that's like 2 hours of me doing the work, right? I thought, that'll be great. We ended up 3.5 maybe.
Yeah.
So that's like a 7-hour job. End of the story. The car's in the garage. Felt so great driving it in. Both cars are in the garage, which the garage was designed for that.
Right. And it's an oversized double, so there's still room for some of the stuff we haven't yet sorted that's stacked at the back. So this was not a complete overhaul of the garage, but enough to get the cars in. But the point is, it was a little decision that created that chaos. Just not putting away a tool.
Multiple
right.
times.
But a little tiny decision. So it works in reverse as much as it works in that.
Yes, exactly. And you might be saying, wow, what's this got to do with real estate? Because it's about turning house to home, right? And how you live in your home affects the value of the property. It affects the value you put on your property. As a matter of fact, you may want to join our community so you get the inside track on this kind of information. And all you got to do is send an email to together@Dekker Team. And
.com.
Yes, sorry. Together at dekkerteam.com.
Well, because it could be .ca, right?
It could be. And you know why I'm so distracted is because I was thinking, how does this apply to real estate, right? And remember the time we had that client and we went in and their house was a bit of a mess, right? And we asked them, do this. We gave them a list, a honey-do list, right? A big one. And it was declutter, sell things, put things in storage, get rid of this, clean, paint. And when they were all done, we came back to do the final evaluation and said, we don't want to move. Our house is perfect.
Right. And so absolutely, that's a great little story. And the other stories we've had is sometimes it's the home isn't now worth what they thought it was worth, or what it actually is worth if it was just maintained on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, where we sell a house to somebody, they buy a house.
And it's perfect.
Sometimes we sell
close to perfect.
Well, as close, and sometimes that bothers me because when you're buying the most pristine, that's the word I'm looking for, pristine home, staged and painted and beautiful and like a model home, you're paying the absolute premium price for that property.
Yeah,
if you don't keep it like that when you go to resell, you've actually lost some potential. You may still have made money on top of what you paid for it, but you've probably lost potential if you don't keep it. And we've had clients like that where we walk in 5 years later and they go, we'd like the valuation. We're thinking of moving to another city. And we come in and we go, oh my gosh, what happened to this house?
Well, and it's just evidence that the smallest things count the biggest.
Yeah.
They're the difference maker.
Over time, they accumulate.
Right.
You break something, you crack something, but you don't fix it. You don't update, you don't upgrade. Eventually, your house starts to be less valuable than it could be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so look back over last month and see where you may be losing traction and where you're ready to learn and apply something new to move you forward. And we're honored to be positioning you to build wealth wisely through real estate because it's about much more than just the money.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker